Children will go through the 5 stages of grief we've been working through in our own sessions together. They will start out by denying that their parents are separated and believing the parents will get back together again. As they proceed through the stages of anger, bargaining, and so on, children need to be allowed to work through all 5 stages of grief. The exercises we talked through, as well as the checklist I provided before our session on grieving, may also be helpful for older children to explore. Obviously, there is a difference in the children's loss because parents do not separate from their children, and the relationship between parent and child will persist even though, as in many cases, the child does not see the non-custodial parent in the early stages of the relationship ending. As with all other feelings, a parent who shows the child how to grieve is far more influential than the parent who tells children about grieving. Children will emulate a grieving parent and will gain much, much more from experiencing that healthy and much needed release. Stage 5. Anger. I remember the daughter of one parent who had ended their relationship becoming uncontrollably angry at her father in the swimming pool one day. The anger was far stronger than the situation warranted, and was apparently a direct result of a feeling of abandonment for which she blamed her father. It is very easy for separated parents not to allow their children to be angry. The custodian of the child will many times try to establish a good relationship between their children and their former partner, even though the partner has not kept appointments and appears to be involved in something other than the children. They may try to help the children accept the situation without being angry, but it is appropriate for children to be angry at the parent who has let them down. It is also easy for us to withdraw love when our children express anger, because we may be so emotionally upset ourselves that when children get angry, we immediately become unaccepting by saying, "Go to your room until you can learn to behave properly," where we really need to invest that extra energy to listen and to accept our children's anger. But also, we need to see that they express their anger appropriately and do not become aggressive, have temper tantrums, or break things. Allow children to express their anger in the same positive, constructive ways we've been exploring in our sessions. When they say that they are very angry at their parent for not coming to see them, just accept this and say, "I think it's right for you to feel angry in the situation." Many people learn that their emotional blocks for expressing anger through some interaction with their parents. Many being punished for being angry, or not allowed to even be angry, or were sent to their rooms, or had feelings of rejection and loss of love. It is far better for children to learn that anger is a part of being human, and that it is okay to express anger in a positive way. Stage 6. Letting go. Children have to deal with letting go of the old concept of the 2-parent family. Suddenly it is a 1-parent family with a custodial and non-custodial parent. Even if there's joint custody, the children have to deal with different lifestyles, and it is hoped that children will not have to let go of a quality relationship with both parents. The child may have difficulty, however, in dealing with the parent's ability to let go or not to let go, and this may become an important rebuilding block for children if they continually hear from one parent about all the good or bad things the other parent is doing. If the parents have not let go of the relationship, the children tend to get caught in either the positive or the negative feelings between the parents, and this will prolong the adjustment process for the children. Module 2 and the process of adjustment and self-concept. The ending of their parents' relationship can be very damaging to children's self-concept. Suddenly life has been uprooted, and they can feel rejected, lonely, alienated, and perhaps guilty by questioning what they did wrong to contribute to their parents' separation. Here the children's adjustment process may be complicated if they are also going through certain growth stages which are of themselves threatening to self-concept. As a prime example, there is evidence from developmental psychology that the teenage years are the most difficult years in growth and development. Puberty means dramatic changes in the body, height, weight, sexual characteristics, body hair and voice. Suddenly identity, or who they thought they were, is also changing. They are experiencing new attitudes and feelings, such as sexual attraction, and relationships with peers have become much more important than their parental relationships. This rapid period of change is a real strain on a teenager's self-concept. So, if youngsters are going through extreme changes in themselves at the time of the parents' separation, the children's self-concepts are more likely to be affected. Going through exercises that we went through in our sessions related to this part of the rebuilding process may be useful to share with your children. In fact, doing the exercises together is a good way of increasing family communication. Stage 8. Friendships. Children have a problem with friendships, often feeling isolated and different, as if they were the only children to have parents who were separated. They may not know anybody else whose parents are separated, partly because children do not often talk about their parents' separation, as it is still a stigma in many communities. Just as the parents tend to become friends with only others who have been separated, then so do children begin to seek out friends with families with single parents. And again, children may withdraw, just as parents withdraw, and shut out all friendships. Children who are going through the pain of their parents separating really need friends to talk to, but they find it difficult to seek them out or to discuss their personal concerns. Parents can help their children to find somebody to talk to, and maybe it is the time for relatives to get involved. However, relatives who are highly emotional and who may have unresolved concerns themselves are not good people for children to talk to at this point in time. We need to be aware and supportive of the needs of children as they are going through this process. Stage 9. Leftovers. Children will have difficulty with the leftovers in similar ways to their parents. The children's style of interactions with others is based on only a few years of life experience and a limited repertoire of behaviors. A strong influence right now is the feeling of internal pain. So, until the child changes, he or she will continue to interact with adults as before. If a new step-parent comes into the picture, for example, the child will tend to have the same problems with the step-parent as she had with his or her natural parent. This will not change until the child works through those old emotions and learns new ways of relating to adults. Stage 10. Love. While everyone is concerned about what love is, children may feel somewhat unlovable because one parent has left. Many suffer from the fear of losing the other parent as well. At the very time when children need a great deal of parental love, parents are undergoing their own trauma, and often are incapable of giving as much love to their children as they would like to. Awareness of this problem and special efforts to overcome it is the key, especially with as much honest conversation with youngsters about what is going on, and reassurance that they are much loved by both parents are much needed at this critical period in time. Module 3, The Future, and Stage 11, Trust. The problem of trust is especially difficult for those children who did not know what was going on with their parents' separation. So the children are now adjusting to a parent's absence with little or no direct communication with the parent who has left the family home. If the father, for example, suddenly leaves the family and does not communicate why he is leaving or the problems that the parents are having, the child may feel deserted and have trouble trusting that absent non-custodial parent. Children really are tougher than we think and can handle an awful lot of direct communication and reality if parents just take the time to communicate with them. Parents who hide their heads and feel that they cannot share the reality of their situation with their children often create a great deal of mistrust in that child, and loss of potential valuable source of love and support for themselves. It is very unusual for an older child who does not know that the parents are going to end their relationship, as I mentioned earlier, before the parents tell them. The more you can communicate and be honest with your children, the more they will trust you and what you have to say, both now and also in the future. Stage 12 and sexuality. When their parents' relationship ends, where do children find role models for relationships and becoming an adult? It is often confusing for children to see their parents get involved in another relationship.